But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Washington football overtime. Panthers, Washington. Not good. Not good at all. Probably the most disappointing game of the season. I got a lot to say, but I'm going to get straight to your Super Chats. I don't want to miss any of these. Hopefully I haven't already missed any of them, but let's just get straight to the Super Chats. I know a lot of you are disappointed. JP, thank you for the Super Chat. Greatly appreciate you. JP writes, we have the refs and Haskins to thank for this loss. I'm not going to blame the referees. When you turn the football over 5 times, you're not going to win. We did this before. We've been through this before. Against Cleveland, against the Giants. You can't turn it over 5 times and expect to win a game. Don't blame the officials for that. Blame Dwayne Haskins. I'm putting the onus on the coaching staff for this one. And we'll talk about that. Hopefully someone will ask a question that prompts me to talk about that. JP, thank you for doubling up. Double up. 2-14 next year. We're obviously still trash. See, that's the kind of stuff, that waffling stuff, that wishy-washy stuff, because this is the same stuff JP was talking earlier this year. Like, you can't be this high and then get this low. Like, obviously this team isn't that bad. Okay? So, chill. Got one here from Atlas013. Thank you for the Super Chat. Greatly appreciate you, Atlas, who writes, I want Taylor Heinicke starting if Alex can't go next week. # Cole Heine. Look, this is what I wanted Ron to do at halftime. I think we've seen Dwayne Haskins for the last time. I don't even know if he's active next week. If Alex is active and they decide to go with 3 quarterbacks, I'm not sure that Dwayne's even one of the 3, to be brutally honest with you. At this point, I think they're done. They've washed their hands with him. You won't see him in a Washington uniform again, I don't think. I think this is it for him. Unless something happens to Alex and he can't go and they want to dress 3 quarterbacks, you won't see Dwayne in a Washington uniform again. He's done. He's finished. After the week he just had and what he put this team through, for him to go out and play the way that he did, he's done. I told you he was done already. I just was trying to heighten the man's draft pick value so we can try to move him. Nobody wants his ass now. Somebody will get him, but they won't give us anything for him, that's for sure. Got one here from Low Key, Not Low-Key. Thank you for the Super Chat, Low Key, Not Low-Key. Who writes, 13 points off of turnovers. We shot ourselves in the foot and gave them the game. Again, what more is there to say? Up until the Steven Sims muffed punt, it's 0-0. The defense is dominating. I told you what kind of game it was going to be. Just don't piss it away and we'll win. They're not capable of beating us unless we hand it to them on a silver platter. And what the hell did we go out and do? We handed them the damn game on a silver platter. We couldn't do it. We're not good enough to do that. Kevin Guvera, thank you for the Super Chat. Greatly appreciate you. Kevin Guvera writes, hopefully this teaches Snyder to stay the hell away from football operations. It's not going to teach him a damn thing. He'll blame this on everybody but himself. You know, you guys didn't coach him up well enough. I know talent when I see it. He's not going to take. When has Snyder ever taken blame for anything that's going on with this football team? Never. So this isn't going to teach him a damn thing. Let's see. Got one here from Jay Hunter Lee. Thank you for the Super Chat, Jay Hunter Lee. Greatly appreciate you. Jay Hunter Lee writes, we got us a QB, damn it. Heinicke. Haskins needs his playbook with pop-up pictures. He's dyslexic or something. I don't know, man. Look, at the end of the day, Haskins just isn't good. He's not good at football. Not at this level, at least. And it is what it is. And you know, some guys can, other guys can't. You can't be immature and then compound that. Again, I told you the best thing he could do was come out and play well. If you're going to stink it up and you're going to make all these mistakes and you're going to make them off the field and you're going to compound it by doing it on the field, like Logan Thomas said it best. If he comes out, he plays well, we win, all will be forgiven. You know, we'll sweep this thing under the rug and we'll move forward. But if you don't, and he didn't say this part, but if you don't, you know what he was alluding to. He didn't have to say it. But if you don't, now it's a problem. And it's a problem. JP, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, my man. JP writes, time for Dan to sell. Enough is enough. Boycott. He's not selling anything, JP. This is your go-to move. He's not selling a damn thing. He's not selling. We're not going 2-14. I know you're upset, but he's not selling. We're not boycotting anything. If we didn't boycott when goddamn Bruce Allen was pretty much running the ship, then we're not going to boycott with Ron Rivera trying to turn this thing around. Home Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Home Sports writes, go buy Dwayne Trashkins, a 5th-round talent our owner took in the first. If number 7 isn't cut in January, then Dan is in control and we need to boycott. So first thing you try to do is you try to salvage this thing. 5th, 6th, 7th round pick, anything. It's better than nothing. That's the first thing you try to do. If you put out feelers and nobody's interested, then you make the decision. I say there's no reason to cut him until after the draft. You may be able to get something around draft time. That's when guys like Dwayne, who are failed first-round picks, become somewhat of a commodity. Teams start thinking about how they felt about a guy when he was coming out of draft, out of college, I should say, and they maybe someone will be willing to give up a 7th-round pick for Dwayne Haskins. Like at this point, you just try to get anything for him. I remember us getting a 6th-round pick for Donovan McNabb when we thought there was no way we were going to get anything for him. And that turned into Alfred Morris. Like, you just don't know what these things morph into. Just try to get something for him. If you can't, then you release him in May. It's not going to hurt you. It's not like you're going to owe him any money. Unless he has some kind of a clause in his contract that gets him a bonus in March or something like that, which he shouldn't. You don't need to cut him. You don't have to rush to do anything. You have time. He should not be on this roster when we get together for training camp. And he won't be. Joseph Green, thank you for the super chat. Joseph Green, greatly appreciate you. Joseph writes, if we started Heinicke at half, we would have won. I said the same thing. Right as he threw the second pick of the first half, his 3rd turnover of the first half, I said, that's it. Honestly, after the first interception, which was his 2nd turnover because he fumbled first, and then he had the interception, the first interception, I said, hey, and you remember if you're in the MLB what I said? I said, if Heinicke has anything, he got anything, get Haskins out now. I could see where this was going. I said, if Heinicke, after the first interception, his 2nd turnover, if Heinicke has anything, get him out now. You can still salvage this thing. Ron stuck around after a 2nd interception. You could argue, 2nd interception, you're desperate. There's not a lot of time left in the first half. You can make excuses for it. I didn't want to. I had seen enough. Get him out of there. Ron stuck around too long. And again, I think the coaching staff cost us this game. And I'll tell you why a little bit later on. Damn Twin Shorty Sublime, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Damn Twin Shorty Sublime writes, Taylor Heinicke looked good. Haskins and Sims should probably be on the same bus out of town. You know how I feel about Steven Sims. I don't think he should be on punts. I've said this numerous times. He's a kick returner. He's not a punt returner. That's fine. I don't think you should get rid of him as a receiver. But I don't think he should be back there fielding punts. We are starting to understand why the last staff didn't want him back there. We're starting to understand why. Jordan liked to go, and I knew there was a reason. They wouldn't tell us. Now we know. He couldn't. He's not consistent catching the football back there. And he's scared now. He's lost his confidence. He let 2 of them hit the ground that should have been fair caught, that bounced, and we ended up starting our drives inside the 10-yard line. He was awful on punts today. Cost us really the game, because to be honest, that's when the game changed. The defense didn't ever look the same after that first muff punt touchdown, and the offense, again, everything changed after that muff punt. Jordan Like the GOAT says, what club is Haskins going to tonight? Well, let's just get one thing straight. The last time he didn't go to the club, he brought the club to him. It was a private party. I think they rented a room or something like that, and he brought the strippers to them. So it wasn't him going out to the strip club. It was him bringing the strippers to him. Either way, I don't care what Dwayne does from here on out. Honestly, he can do whatever the hell he likes. Aaron House, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Aaron writes, I blame Turner for Heinicke's success. There's a lot of blame to go around in this football game. That's for damn sure. A ton of it to go around. I can assure you of that. Jeffrey Royale, thank you for the super chat. Jeffrey writes, I guess this is the end of Haskins' career in Washington. I hope so. He's terrible. Need to go back to Ohio State. They don't even want him there either. This is definitely the end of the rope line for him in Washington. You won't see, again, I said this is it for him. And I told you that during the week. If he doesn't play well, this is it for him. And Haskins acknowledged it himself. I told you there was self-awareness from him this week where he acknowledged, if I don't play well, this is my last chance. Well, he didn't play well. And you could tell he was pressing. He was pressing. And again, if someone brings it up, I'll answer that. If not, I'll just talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to miss any of your super chats. Harvey Mills, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Harvey writes, I don't ever want to see Haskins behind center again. You trust me. Unless a bunch of injuries take place, you won't. All right? Seems like we should have had started Heinicke for the entire game. And in a half of a quarter, I've seen him do things Smith or Haskins can't. I'll tell you what, I watched Taylor Heinicke for 3 years at Old Dominion University. He set all kinds of records. He still holds most of the records at the quarterback position for Old Dominion. And I can tell you the guy can play ball. I just don't know at what level he can play ball. Can he play like this consistently? I don't know. I can't say for certain. I just know he's not terrible. I just didn't think he would be up to speed this quickly. But then again, he's been in this offense for a couple of years. So that's why they felt so comfortable bringing him in. They should have put him in sooner. That's honestly how I feel. Again, I feel like the coaching staff cost us this game in a multitude of ways. Barrett Down and my man BD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Barrett writes, I can't even understand how we put this new quarterback in the game and he moves the team and Haskins can't. I'm pissed. I think we can all see how that could happen. I'm just disappointed that they waited so long to pull the trigger on moving on from Haskins. If they had done this at the end of the third quarter, we would have had a shot. They waited too late in the game to give us a chance to win. Haskins didn't give us a chance. He didn't. Got another super chat from Extra Squad. Thank you for the super chat, Extra Squad. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Dwayne is never going to show his face in the DMV. What a shameful performance. He embarrassed fans, his parents, teammates. I hate him with a passion. I don't hate him, but as a Washington football team player, I can't think of the last time I've had such disdain and disappointment for a player. I think I got to go all the way back to Albert Hainsworth for the last time I felt this way about a player. Like, I can't wait for this guy. It can't come fast enough for him to not be in a Washington uniform right now. I'm so disappointed in him. For all that he's put this team through, and then for him to go out and compound matters and go out and play the way that he did, I am so over him, it's not even funny. I can't say he can't show his face in the DMV. But this was an embarrassing performance. That is for certain. DCJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, shaking my head, Haskins. But why not sit him earlier or third quarter? Again, I've stated this. This loss is on the coaching staff. I firmly believe that this loss is on the coaching staff. That's one of the questions that Rivera's going to get asked after the game, and he might get snippy. You know, if he gets asked this in 6 different directions, 6 different ways, but they're asking the same question, if he doesn't have a good answer and they continue to probe and press, he might get pissed off. But that's the question he needs to be asked, because to me, that's what cost us this game. You stayed too long with a guy that has shown you he's inconsistent at best this season. There was no reason to give him a whole nother half of football to prove that he can't do it. Not against a 4-10 team. And you knew what the second half was going to be. They were up 20-3 at half, and I told you, lights out, baby. It's over. They're not scoring any more points. If we could just score 3 touchdowns, we'll win the game. Taylor Heinicke looked like he was prepared. If we would have given him a whole half, he looked like he was prepared to take us down. Now, he might have turned it over once or twice, but he looked prepared to take us down the field and give us a chance to score at least 2 touchdowns. It's unfortunate. Carlton Pagano Jackson, my guy, CPJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, tough loss. On to the next. Let's go, Taylor. # Mob Squad. Alex may be ready next week. If he's not, I feel the same way I felt last week, even though I kind of feel like we don't deserve to go anywhere. I think we've maxed out our potential for this season. I still want to go, trust me. But I think, unfortunately, we've already hit our plateau. We played our best football in that 4-game stretch of Cincinnati, Dallas, Pittsburgh, San Francisco. We maxed out right there. And I don't know if we have much more to give. And now Dallas is playing good ball. I don't like our chances against Philadelphia next week. It's amazing. The Cowboys were left for dead. They were on a verge of a mutiny in Dallas, and now all of a sudden they're going to win the division. It's ridiculous. That's hard to stomach. Tough to take. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. J Mart, greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Haskins should have been suspended. The hell first team reps. And there's a lot of people that felt that way, that he shouldn't have played today. He should have been suspended. He was our best chance coming into the game. They needed to be able to understand that if he didn't show them what they were looking for early, that they needed to. He should have been instructed, you got a short leash, my man. You go out here and you start winging it, which he did early in this game, and you don't follow the guidelines that we've set out for you, which is go out here and play smart football, then we're going to have to yank you. They should have already set that up, and everyone should have already known going in what the situation was, and apparently that wasn't done. So, Taqui L, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Taqui L writes, 1, we're still in control of our own destiny. First of all, you can't control destiny. We're still in control of the outcome of the season. 2, when's the last time we've won the division prior to week 17? I still have faith. That answer is 2015. We beat the Eagles in 2015 in week 16 on the road at Philadelphia. This could have been done. We could have had a chance to rest players. Terry could have had another week off. Morgan Moses could have got a week off. Antonio Gibson could have got a week off. This would have been an excellent opportunity. Alex could have got another week and then been ready for the postseason. We blew it. Now everybody's got to play. All hands on deck next week, and there's still no guarantee that we get it done. 99 Problems, Chase ain't one. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 99 Problems, Chase ain't one writes, we didn't let the run game develop. Horrible game plan. They let Dwayne lose us the game. That backup quarterback's deep balls were perfect. Sims, you got to catch it. So Logan Thomas, got to catch the damn ball. Help the young fella out. He's out here throwing dimes. Help him out. I agree 125% with what you just said about the run game. And again, I said the coaching staff lost us this game. That's included in how I feel. Scott Turner, I thought this was one of his worst games as a play caller. And I'm a massive Scott Turner supporter. He gets it. He understands what's going on. I didn't think he got it today. I didn't think he understood it today. Protect Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Protect Sports writes, bruh, what the hell, man? Dwayne Haskins is trash. He gots to go. He gave away the game on a silver platter, bro. Shaking my effing head. Hope Alex plays next week. We can win. No kizzy. 100. Yeah, we can win. But my confidence level has dropped dramatically. Significantly. I still think we're the best team in this division, but what is that really saying? Just because we're the best team, we're not playing the best right now. There's a difference. You can be the best team in the division. The Cowboys have the best talent in the division. Who cares about that if you're not winning games, right? Same thing here. I think we're the best team in the division. What does that mean when you're not playing good football? We're not playing good football right now. At one point, we had a chance to finish up this season at 9-7. Now we're staring 7-9 at the face in the face, and we gotta have 7-9 in order to win the division. I mean, technically, we could win it at 6-10. Who the hell wants to do that? Who wants to do that? I damn sure don't. Rob U, thank you for the super chat. Rob U, greatly appreciate you. Rob U writes, Lou, I'm so over Haskins. Bruh, we are still staring down receivers, throwing into triple coverage, have no situational awareness, shaking my damn head. Look, again, I don't know what you guys want from him. This is what he's shown you. Like, it was funny, I was in the MOBB, and somebody was upset about the team in the start to the game, and they're like, man, I thought we were going to get off to a faster start. Why? What in the hell made you think we were going to get off to a fast start this week of all weeks? Because we're playing Carolina? We're so much better. I told you, we're not that much better than the Panthers. They're 5-10. We're 6-9. One game separates us in the standings. Don't try to act as if we're better than what we really are. Why were we going to start any different today? All year, this is the thing as fans you have to understand. All season, this team has shown us who they've been. They do not start games well. And at times, they can be self-destructive. Why do you think all of a sudden, 16 weeks in, something's going to change? We haven't scored an opening touchdown. The only team that has not scored a single point on the opening possession of the game. And you think all of a sudden it's just going to change in week 16 because we're playing the Panthers? They've shown us who they are. You have to accept that. We know we play second half ball. Did they score a single point in the second half? No. We know who we are. Embrace it. The rules have been set. Do not self-destruct in the first half. Or as I like to say, survive the first half. It will give you a chance to thrive in the second half. We didn't do that today. We self-destructed in the first half, gave up 20 points. You lose. Every time we give up 20 in the first quarter, or first half, we lost this season. We haven't come back once. You know the rules to the game, then play. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Trevor Patch, who writes, I'm livid, Lou. Said in the MOBB that Ron needed to take Dwayne out at half. Same here. Also, said Ron was being greedy trying to get a fourth for Dwayne. Again, I can't disagree with that. Ron's lost my trust for now. I want number 7 given back tonight. I'm not getting off of the Ron Rivera boat. I've already told you I'm in the car with Ron. I got my safety belt on. If we crash, I should be fine. As long as the passenger side airbag works, I got my safety belt on. I'm good. I'm locked in. I feel good. This was the first time I felt like Ron really didn't give the other 52 guys a chance. Really didn't give the rest of the team a chance with his decision-making in this game. Him or Scott Turner, for that matter. Atypical Brother, thank you for the super chat. Atypical Brother, greatly appreciate you, who writes, Heinicke deserves to start next game. Though Carolina rarely blitzed him, he showed promise and was actually reading what the defense was giving him, unlike Haskins. Haskins is Jamarcus Russell 2.0. Well, Jamarcus Russell was the number 2 pick in that draft, I believe. I think he was the number 2 pick. So a little bit different there. He was 15 and easily could have not been a first-round pick if we didn't select him. I think he would have been just like Drew Lock and wouldn't have gotten selected in the first round. But that's nor here nor there. Carolina did blitz a couple of times, and I thought he handled it really well. Had a pass across the field to, I want to say it was Cam Sims, or you know what? It was to Antonio Gibson out in the flats on a 2nd and 10 to pick up 7 and bring up a 3rd and 3. I thought he handled everything well that was thrown at him, to be honest with you. Anyhow. Billy Ampifo says, this is an offensive league. Defense isn't enough. You have to have a good defense, but you need an elite quarterback and offense for Super Bowl. I don't want Stafford or middle of the pack quarterback. Draft quarterback or Dak. That's what Billy Ampifo wants. You're right. It is an offensive league. If you can play elite defense, you got to at least have more. You have to have at least average quarterback play. You can win in this league with an elite defense. I shouldn't do this because it's not fair to Ryan Tannehill. But had the Titans last year had elite defense, they could have went to the Super Bowl. Tannehill was good enough, and Tannehill's above average, just so you know. But you can win in this league with a Ryan Tannehill is what I'm essentially trying to tell you. The Titans don't have elite defense. They can't get to the quarterback. That's their biggest bugaboo. But they can run it. They got a really good quarterback that's playing well. They got receivers. If they could play defense, if they had the kind of defense we have, the Tennessee Titans would be a Super Bowl team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team because their defense isn't good enough. So it could go either way, honestly. Anyway, thank you for that super chat. Caleb Meekins, thank you for the super chat. Caleb Meekins writes, linebackers regress, drops. Steven Sims was a detriment the entire game. Sims, like I said, it was just that one punt return that he, and honestly, what is he doing? You got 2 Panther defenders in front of you. Call a fair catch. Why are we trying to be special? You weren't going anywhere on that punt return. That was the problem. Is he's trying to run before he has the ball because he sees 2 guys in front of him. Just call a damn fair catch, and he would have caught it. Stupid. It's just dumb. Atypical Brother, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Atypical Brother, who writes, Haskins is better at throwing dollars at strippers than he is throwing to receivers. I haven't seen his form, but if he locks that back leg like he does when he throws it, maybe those will go sideways as well. I'm not sure. Viral Hip Hop News, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Viral Hip Hop News writes, big fan of the show. This game from start to finish was frustrating. One thing I firmly believe, we get a quarterback, we run this division for the next decade. Keep up the great work. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. If we find that guy wherever he may be, I think we have a chance to do some special things. I agree. But it's easier said than done. How long have we been looking for that guy? We had one. I know you don't want to hear it. I'm going to do it anyway. Some of you say, don't do it, Louie. Don't do it. We had Kirk Cousins, goddammit. And he's playing outstanding football for the Minnesota Vikings. And if he was on this team, which we wouldn't have had Chase Young, so I do acknowledge that. We would not have had Chase Young. We might not even have Montez Sweat because we wouldn't have been bad enough to be in a position to draft either one of those guys. But I digress. Had he been here with this team, we're Super Bowl contenders. Got another super chat here from Robert Parrish. Thank you, Chief. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I told the MOBB about Taylor's days ago. I watched his career at ODU. The game changed with the Sims muff. I second and third both of those comments. I watched him at ODU. The guy was a stud. This game absolutely 1,000% positively, no equivocations changed on the Sims muff. We were never the same team. Defensively, offensively, we already didn't have it. But it's like, as soon as we went down, Scott lost his damn mind. Like he went back to this de facto, gotta throw it. Gotta find a way to get Dwayne in a rhythm. F Dwayne. Oh, he almost made me drop an F-bomb. Forget Dwayne. Run the damn ball. They weren't stopping it. Anthony Barnwell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Anthony writes, hey, Lou, big fan. Keep hunting the good stuff. Despite the loss, it was nice to see Heinicke's first completed pass not thrown at 500 miles. Did you see how much touch he put on the ball? That was refreshing. Because even Alex can be a little bit, Alex can put a little sauce on it. You know how nice it was to just see a guy. How about those deep balls? Alex's deep ball is flat, just like Dwayne's is flat. How about those deep balls? Man, were they feathery soft or what? Like, everything he did just looked like a responsible NFL quarterback. Nice little touch. When he needed to get out and use his legs, hey, I'm going to fake it. No, I'm going to run it. Like, even the little things, he just did the little things right. When you've been so predisposed to seeing bad quarterbacking, when you see the little things done right, it brings a smile to your face. It warmed my heart just to see a little touch on a pass 7 yards away from a guy. It warmed my heart to see him in and out of the pocket. Didn't just automatically decide, I'm going to run to my left. Don't ask me why. I'm going to pivot and turn all the way around to my left when I could just go to the right. I'm going to make a whole beeline to turn left when I could just go to the right and pick up 6 yards. Don't ask me. I don't know, but it just was refreshing. Just like that Cole Heine we popped open in the fourth. It was refreshing just to see him come out there and do what he did. Even if it's only for a half a quarter and we don't see him again. It was refreshing, man. I took a sip of that Cole Heine and I was like, you ever drank something and it was so good you had to look at the damn bottle? That's how I felt about the Cole Heine I had today. Wish I would have been able to take some more sips. Unfortunately, Ron didn't give us the Cole Heine until halfway through the damn fourth quarter. Chauncey Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Chauncey writes, look, Lou, Gibby looked good, man. And we shut them out in the second half. Let's just get ready for next week. It sounds really good, Chauncey. It really does. It's just hard because you're ignoring the fact that we had a golden opportunity in front of us to not have to worry about next week. We had a golden opportunity placed in front of us and we blew it. It's just not easy to just say, hey, on to the next one. Lost that game. Let's just go win next week. No, it's not that easy. You got to be able to figure out what the hell went wrong. Decipher 2PC 2G. Thank you for the super chat. Decipher SPC 2G writes, QB troubles. Yes. But there better be a receiver who can step the F up. No matter who is quarterback, we need a wide receiver to complement Terry ASAP. I think today was a great example of what happens. And remember, I asked this question on Friday. Who's going to step up? Because more likely than not, there will be no Terry. We're gonna have it because there were a lot of you. Cam Sims is a number 2 guys out there, and I said not exactly. Cam Sims looks like a number 3 option, and a really solid one at that. But I don't think Cam Sims is ready for the number 2 role. And you saw it today. He had the most targets of any receiver, and I think he had 2 catches out of 8 or 9 targets. I think he had 3 catches. He had caught the little shallow cross late in the game. He had 3 catches, I believe, and he had about 8 or 9 targets. And no bigger drop than the deep ball that would have put us right back in the ball game. First and goal from the 2-yard line with all our timeouts and like 5 minutes left in the game. I mean, gotta catch the damn football. That looked like preseason 2 years ago Cam Sims that couldn't catch claps in a whorehouse and didn't make the team. Really disappointed today. Brendan McCloskey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Brendan writes, I've never been as furious and disappointed watching a game, and that is saying much. It is saying a lot, because if you've watched this team long enough, this probably isn't even in the top 10 of the most disappointing games that we've watched over the years since Snyder has taken over. But I can tell you, I was definitely furious. Now, I don't think I was ever really furious as much as I was just disappointed. Because you know what? For all the fans that tried to reassure me, like my man Big Money Sonny out there, we gonna win. We gonna win the division tomorrow. And I'm like, and there was this gripping feeling in my gut that said, hey man, just stick your toe in. Do not dive in. You know how this goes. You're a Washington fan. You've been here before. You know what's about to happen. This is Charlie Brown status. You know what Lucy's about to do. You know what Washington's about to do. Don't you do it. Don't you go kick that. Told your dumb ass don't try to kick the damn football. I already knew what was going to happen, and I allowed myself anyway. Because, again, I'm a glutton for punishment. What can I say? What more can I say? I'm a glutton for punishment, man. I sign up for this shit every year, every week, and I did it again. All right, so at this point, whatever happens, happens. I don't really know what to make of it. You know, this was disappointing on so many levels. It really was. Thank you for doubling up, Rob. You double up. Thank you for doubling up, Rob. You greatly appreciate you. Look, it's 1,000 of y'all out there. Can we get the likes up, please? Thank you. Rob, you says the game next week scares me against the Eagles because Hurts looks legit with a small sample size. Missed opportunity to give some guys a much needed break next week if we had nothing to play for. I agree. And somebody in the MOBB, and I think I've brought this up too, but this is one of the reasons that I said I didn't want us to have to play against the Eagles with anything on the line is because Teddy Bridgewater, not a tremendous day on the ground, but good enough. You know, on third downs when he needed to run, he ran. We don't handle mobile quarterbacks very well. We don't. And so we're going to go up against a guy that doesn't mind running the football. And if we don't have a better effort against him, he'll do what Teddy Bridgewater, what Lamar Jackson, and what Kyler Murray have done before him, which is run on this defense and put us in some tough spots and convert some critical third downs and move the sticks. So that's I wanted to avoid that. I didn't want to have to deal with Jalen Hurts. You think the Eagles don't want to put us, even if they can't go, you think they don't want to send us home with them? They're chomping at the bit to end our season. And they're going to have a great opportunity to do it too. Thank you for that super chat. Chauncey Davis, double up, thank you for doubling up, Chauncey Davis. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, we knew what could happen once Alex wasn't going to play. We did. We knew it was a definite possibility what could happen if Alex wasn't going to play in this game. But I put it on the coaching staff to be able to see it faster and make something happen, to make a faster decision. Don't allow the rest of the team to sink with the ship known as Dwayne Haskins. We can still salvage the rest of the ship and all of the passengers on board if you just pull him out. He's like an anchor. He's sinking this ship. Get him out of here, and we got a shot. And they allowed this whole entire ship to sink with Dwayne Haskins, and they didn't have to do that. Steve Sims, Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you there, Wrights. I'm not going to be able to sleep knowing that we could have won the division with a quarterback like Chase Daniel. It is on site with number 7. Hey, stop, man. Stop. Although I can use the laugh. Oh, man. Big Money Sonny. Thank you for the super chat, Big Money Sonny. Greatly appreciate you. Right. Lou, why aren't you drunk yet? Oh, well, I'm on my way. So I haven't eaten yet. I was too nervous to eat. I told you I can't eat before during a Washington game. Had this game been at, it wouldn't have happened regardless. I wouldn't have had a drink yet because I don't like drinking on an empty stomach. That's a recipe for disaster. I like myself and I like to take care of myself. And so I've done that before. Never ends well for me. So I need to eat something first. But trust me, there will be an adult beverage being consumed, probably in ample doses later on tonight. But I haven't been able to get to it quite yet. But trust me, it's coming. It's coming. I will join you at some point. Thank you for the super chat, Big Money Sonny. Esdorino 404 Fila, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, how about my Falcons holding the Chiefs to 17 points? Chiefs may not go back to the Super Bowl. You had every chance to win that football game, including your Pro Bowl kicker missing a chip shot field goal from 39 yards out to send that game to overtime. It's frustrating, but that's been the story. They showed a stat. Falcons 0-6 in games decided by 6 points or less. Chiefs were 7-0, and now you're 0-7 and they're 8-0. So that's the reason that you're going to be home after next week, and they're going to be going to the playoffs with a first round bye. But you did play a good defensive game. I will give you that. Cruising 26. I thought Sweat was drafted 26th in the first round. He was 25th, I think it was, in the first round. Don't get me the line. It's either 25th or 26th, one of the two. I believe it was 25th, but, who's really keeping track of that stuff? It was a first-round pick. That's all you really need to know. Got another super chat here from Rob U. Thank you for tripling up, Rob U. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I've not questioned the play calling all season, but the O-line was dominant in the first quarter. Why not keep running and set up play action pass? I mean, again, I told you, I blame two people in particular for this loss. Scott Turner, Ron Rivera, and again, you guys, you watched the same game I watched. After we forced what was it a turnover? How did we get that great field position that we had? It was a turnover, right? They turnover on downs. Deron Payne with the sack of Teddy Bridgewater. We ran the ball 3 straight times, and we're inside of Panthers' 35-yard line, and then he decides he wants to throw it. Why? We're gutting him right now. Why are we dropping back with Dwayne again? And he fumbles. It's a bad decision. But, again, Scott Turner, you have some explaining to do. That's how I feel about that. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, William writes. Ron's loyalty to the Panthers blinded his loyalty to the football team. Heinicke needs to start next week and let Alex back him up like Fitzpatrick and Tua. Use Alex as a backup. If Alex is healthy, he's going to go. We've already been through this. Rivera has already explained this. He's our starting quarterback. If he's healthy, he starts next week. I won't bet on that. I don't think Alex, first of all, we're dealing with that calf muscle that they literally had to pull skin grafts from other parts of his body to formulate a calf muscle, okay? I don't know if this calf muscle is ever going to be the same, to be honest with you. And so if he can't go, just like I felt last week, and it may be fool's gold, just like it was last week. I said last week, hey, I'm really confident if Haskins has to go, I've seen enough to feel like he can get us a win, minus the turnovers. I feel the same way about Taylor Heinicke this week. If Alex can't go, I feel fully confident that if Taylor can do what he just did, which I know he's capable of, but, different defense, different situation, on the road, then, I think we can win the game. But, again, you just don't really know. We really don't know. Metaphor, thank you for the super chat. Metaphor, greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, killed ourselves, but I don't like saying it. The refs helped. Bad holding negated Logan touchdown. Forced fumble clearly before whistle on us, but damn. Yeah, look, it was holding on that play. I just hate the call. It's the same call they made last week. Like, don't call that. Like, that's a dumb holding penalty. Like, don't call that. We see worse holdings take place every play that you don't call. Don't call that. Don't call that on 4th down. Don't call that on That was 2 4. Don't call that on 4th down. 2 weeks in a row you call that bullshit on 4th. Don't call that shit on 4th down. The fumble, whatever. Like, I'm not. If you're gonna call it, you're gonna call it. If forward progress is stopped, whatever. I thought it was a quick whistle. You live with that. Don't turn the ball over 5 times. How about that? Don't turn it over 5 times. Let's see. Got another super chat here from Atypical Brother. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Atypical Brother. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I truly believe we should give Heinicke a chance. See what he has next year. The offense was efficient and smooth under him. Use our first round pick on a wide receiver. Again, I don't overdo it with Tyler. It's got to stop calling this man Tyler. Taylor Heinicke. It is what it is. This is what happens when your brain is warped so bad. As fans, we have Stockholm syndrome. It's almost to the point where, and I know it's not the same exact thing. We're not siding with Dwayne even though he's punished us, but we've seen so much bad quarterback play that now anytime we see a sliver of hope or a guy that shows us just a teeny tiny bit of anything, we're like, hey, what about this guy? No, it doesn't work that way. Marcus Bradley, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Marcus Bradley writes, Haskins is trash juice, but we all knew that. But what about the beast Chase Young? Making plays today and cheering on the offense even when they're at their worst. A true star. I love that guy, man. And you couldn't get me to do the 2020 draft over again, even if I already knew what Herbert was going to turn into, or if I liked Tua or whatever. Even if you guaranteed me that Tua was going to stay healthy his entire career, you couldn't get me to go back and take a quarterback over Chase Young. And when I said that, people were like, you're tripping. You got to have a quarterback in this league. To hell with that. Give me 11 Chase Youngs on offense. Give me 11 Chase Youngs on defense, okay? The man was a one-man wrecking crew on defense today. If not for him, the Panthers scored 30 today. If not for Chase Young, the Panthers scored 30 today. He has every right to have that C on his chest. Thank you for bringing him up too. Because in all of our self-pity and wallowing and misery, we weren't going to acknowledge just how great he was today. Thank you for bringing that up, Marcus. Chauncey Davis, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Chauncey, who writes, Lou, I've been a fan since 1969, and I'm disappointed in the offensive side today. But I believe Ron is still in control. I like our chances next week. I think it'll take me a little while to get over this one and then turn my focus to the Eagles. I can't turn around and just be, okay, Eagles next week. Like, I don't operate that way. This one is going to sting for a little while. I got to sit through all the Sunday night, all the Monday night bullshit of everybody talking about how this division is open. And you know what? I might have to give an apology to Chris Collinsworth because I sat here and I chastised him for about 3 or 4 days straight after he made the Cowboys the comment, well, the Cowboys won 2 in a row. I don't know about the NFC East, just flipping and just disrespecting us and dismissing what we had done up until that point. And maybe he knew something. Maybe he knew something because now it's 4 straight for Dallas. I don't know. Maybe he knew that they were going to come back and win the division. So I might owe a double O to Chris Collinsworth. And now I got to sit through his punk ass tonight and the Monday night telecast talking shit about the NFC East again and how we had a chance and we blew it. And I just didn't want to have to deal with that. I wanted this shit to be over with. I wanted it to be over with. We blew it. Decipher SPC2G, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Anthony Bain, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Anthony writes, Jalen Hurts will take the Eagles to the playoffs. Seattle will be the 2 seed after King Henry runs wild on Green Bay. Did the Eagles come back and win? Is there something that I missed? Because if the Eagles lost, they're eliminated from playoff contention. So, did I miss something? Let me check real quick. Or maybe you just talking some ish, and you just throwing out random stuff. Because Dallas was up by 13 when I came up here to do this show, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. No, Cowboys won by 20. The Eagles are eliminated, so they're not. Jalen Hurts ain't taking the Eagles no goddamn where, but home. He might be taking us home with him though. That's the problem. William Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, William Lee. And you know the Giants aren't beating the Cowboys next week. Just so you're aware, the Giants, they're dead. They are absolutely lifeless. The Cowboys are going to run over them next week. So don't look for the Giants to do us any favors next week against Dallas. If we want to win, we're going to have to earn our way in. You know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Don't back your way in. Don't moonwalk your way into the playoffs. You want in, you got to win your way in like a G. We acting like a couple of B's right now. You want to be a playoff team, you got to be a G, not a B. When did we stop putting our hands up on defense? We put our hands up today. I saw Deron Payne a couple of times get his hands up. You know, a lot of times when you get your hands up, it's luck. You know, you get your hands up, and there are times when you see the ball pass a hand that close. And they talk about the game, NFL being a game of inches, and it's truer than, in a situation where a guy puts his hand up. I've seen quarterbacks squeeze footballs past guys' hands at the line of scrimmage. You're like, how in the hell did that not get batted down? We put our hands up. We weren't successful today. Honor Immortal. Thank you for the super chat, Honor Immortal, who writes, remember when Haskins and Murray was debatable for the number 1 pick? What exactly did Haskins do in college that's not translating? I don't watch the NCAA. Well, see, this is the thing. Haskins always had bad footwork and mechanics, but it was masked in Ohio State. Why was it masked? Because their guys were so wide open. They ran the same concepts. I remember watching a game in Haskins' final year against Michigan. They ran that same mesh concept 87,000 times, and all he did was throw it down underneath, and their athletes ran after the catch. He threw 50 touchdowns literally to wide open receivers. There wasn't a bunch of reading the defense and, analyzing and making tight window throws. Guys were open. Guys ran after the catch. It was easy for him at Ohio State. It was on 1 year. That was the problem. 1 year production. And so, that's essentially what was different, is that he played one season, and the biggest problem for me was the mechanics. I saw a lot of things fundamental. Remember, I told you I don't like Haskins. I didn't like him coming out of Ohio State. I didn't want him. I wanted Drew Lock. He might not be all that great either, but he was more pro-ready for me. I tell you this much: if we had Drew Lock instead of Dwayne, and Drew Lock had to play, I'd feel a lot better about our chances right now. But that's nor here nor there. It doesn't matter. Neither one of those guys are playing all that great right now. Let's see. Got another super chat. This one is from Rob the GOAT. Thank you for the super chat, Rob the GOAT. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, I think my first super chat was missed. I'm sorry about that. It's so many comments in here and they're going so quick. I've been getting through them really well today, but there might have been a few that was missed. He says, first time super chatting. So I really do appreciate you coming back to that again, and I apologize for that. We really need offense this offseason. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there are a couple of pieces on defense that we could use. I thought this was Jeremy Reeves' worst game at the safety position. But he's a third string safety. I mean, what do you expect? At the same time, I think we've seen that without Terry, there's just not enough offensive firepower. I told you what Mike Tomlin, he gave us the most disrespectful scouting report that should have told you all you needed to know. He said on first and second downs, I'm looking for 24 and 17. On third down, I'm looking for 17 and 41. That was his scouting report. I don't really give a shit about any of your other guys. Those are the three guys I'm concerned about. On first and second down, it's 24, and on third down, it's 17 and 41. Well, damn. Okay. If that's how you feel, that's how the rest of the league's looking at us, more likely than not. So we need some more help on offense. And it's going to be free agency. I don't think it's going to be via the draft. I think this is going to be a loaded wide receiver free agency class. We're going to have a chance. J Mart, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Greatly appreciate you, J Mart. Writes, and once again, I want to thank you for coming back again for your first time super chatting. Rob the GOAT, really appreciate you. J Mart writes, the lack of offense has been detrimental to this team. I like all DC teams too much losing. I'm happy for the Caps and Nats, but Wiz and Washington football team are my heart. Yeah, it's been rough. If you're a fan of all the Washington teams, you've had some success, as you mentioned, of late. I'm not a fan of any of the other Washington teams. So the Washington football team is the one professional sports team that I care about the most. And they kill me every year. Every year. Some years, they put me out of my misery nice and early. They take me out back after the end of September like they did last year and put two of my playoff hopes dome, boop, boop, and put me down nice and quick and painless. And sometimes I prefer that. This year I was like, look, man, I just want to fight. Give me a chance. We fighting out here, but, this would be so debilitating and crushing if we don't win this division. It really, like I told you, this season, which was viewed as a really good first year for Ron Rivera, it's going to be tainted if we don't win this division. No other way to say it. William Lee, thank you for the super chat and doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, William Lee, who writes, we need to start Josh Johnson. I'm so glad he's not on the team anymore. That wasn't fun last year at all. Or 2 years ago, I think it was now. That wasn't fun at all. John McDowell, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate you, John McDowell writes, looks like I can't order my NFC East Championship gear this week. That's okay. I'll get a Louie T camo cap, a proud Patreon supporter. I really do appreciate you, John. Thank you so much for your support and your unwavering support at that. I can't tell you how much that means to me. So thank you so much for that. I was looking forward to having NFC East champs up on the screen tonight. And, I had all this stuff prepared. And maybe I'll be able to break it out next week. Maybe I won't. We'll see. Really disappointed, though. Steve Sims, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Greatly appreciate you, Steve Sims, who writes, where's Josh Johnson when you need him? I hope as far away as possible. I don't think some of you guys remember, he was awful. Remember that Week 17 game against the Eagles in which we got shut out and barely had 100 yards of total offense? Who was the quarterback of that team? Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Josh Johnson. No, I don't want to see that again. Let's see. Chauncey Davis, greatly appreciate you, Chauncey. Thank you so much. My man Chauncey writes, Lou, Alex won't be ready next week. Get Heinicke ready. The run game was good before the turnover started. We are going to need 17. I don't think Alex is going to be ready either. I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. If the coaching staff is smart, they'll give Heinicke most of the first team reps, and if Alex can go at some point, they'll give him some reps. But if I'm the coaching staff, Taylor Heinicke is the guy I'm getting ready to go against the Eagles in Week 17. And it's amazing. We might have our fourth starting quarterback of the season. The fact that we're even talking about a chance to win the division with our fourth starting quarterback is remarkable. As a matter of fact, Dallas has done the same thing. So I can't really say that we're the only team in the division that has done that. Dallas started Dak, Andy Dalton, JMU, and they started the guy that almost beat the Steelers. I can't even remember his name. But shit, 4 starters in a season is ridiculous. And the fact that we're talking about a division is remarkable, is what it is, honestly speaking. And we're going to need Terry back. That's for damn sure. I mean, unbelievable how badly the Panthers secondary stinks. We had guys open in the secondary continuously, and we just needed one guy to step up and make a catch. And there was no 17 to bail us out. Nobody wanted to make a play for Cole Heine. Decipher 2PC2G, thank you for the super chat. Decipher SPC2G. Excuse me, I think I said 2 twice. This year, great if we get in, win the division, etc. But next year and beyond is what I'm looking forward to. Haven't been this excited since our last bowl. I mean, that sounds great, but until you figure out the quarterback position, how can you be overly excited? I'm excited about so let me walk that statement back, because I am excited about this direction. I am excited about this defense. I am excited about this coaching staff. But what we've seen is that, and maybe the defense will take another step next year and be ready to lead this team when the offense is, because they're not there yet. They're good enough when the offense doesn't regurgitate all over itself. When the offense makes mistakes, they can't overcome the mistakes made by the offense. Unfortunately, that's not where we are right now. Or special teams. Let's not forget about special teams. When they make mistakes, this defense isn't capable of overcoming the mistakes made by special teams and the offense. And they didn't even get a chance to try to overcome the special teams mistake this week, as that football was recovered in the end zone. But at the end of the day, maybe the defense is better next year, and they're ready to take that next step and win games by themselves like they did against the 49ers. Maybe they're ready to do that on a more consistent basis. But what we've seen this season is that if you don't have at least an average quarterback, we don't even have that right now consistently. Maybe, Kyle Allen is that. Maybe, Taylor Heinicke is that. But right now we don't even have that. When Alex Smith is healthy, at least he gives us that. That's why we won 4 in a row. But until we can establish that we've got at least that consistently, we're going to struggle. That's unfortunate. Dylan Hinton, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Dylan, who writes, I wish we had our 2015 receivers back with Kirk. Again, if you had that group back, then you wouldn't have Chase Young, Montez, so you wouldn't have all of those pieces, because you wouldn't have been bad enough to select in a position to get a Deron Payne or Jonathan Allen. You wouldn't have been in a position to get those guys. So it's a double-edged sword. Really, it is. I like where we are. I just wish we got to figure out the quarterback position. Amara Dumboya, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Louie T looks like a black Charlie Brown. Oh, man. That was mean. That was mean. I feel like Charlie trying to kick the ball today, though. Anyway, let's see. Here we go right here. Got a super chat from Anthony Bain. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, A.B. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, my bad, just saw they lost. The bubbly got to me. Hey, no worries, man. No worries. I totally get it. It's all good. Hopefully we can beat them up like Dallas did this week. I wouldn't bank on that, though. Amun Ra, thank you for the super chat. Amun Ra, who writes, 2 words, Sam Darnold. I got a whole sentence for you. How do you know the Jets want to trade him? That's a question, actually, not a statement. How do you know the Jets want to trade him? The Jets aren't losing. If you haven't noticed, they won again today. They could care less about the number 1 pick. That's gone. The Jaguars clinched the number 1 pick today. So how do you know they're trading Sam Darnold? I don't think they're trading Sam Darnold. Do you? We'll see. J-Mart, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you. J-Mart writes, Dan Snyder owes us an apology for taking Haskins. Well, hey, look, if you're going to hold your breath waiting on it, I'll be at your funeral. If you're going to wait for one until, the end of time, I will meet you at the end of the earth, because you're not getting it. Chauncey Davis, thank you for, your 4th super chat of the night. Greatly appreciate you. Chauncey writes, O-line, get a grade A today. Cameron Curl is the steal of the 2020 draft. I can't side with you on the offensive line getting an A, because they gave up pressures today. You would like Dwayne to not get hit and fumble and things of that nature, but on the fumble on the second possession of the game when we were heading towards points, that's on the O-line. That's quick pressure from Cornelius Lucas's side. It's quick pressure. Morgan Moses got beat a couple of times today. Quick pressure off the edge. On that third down, when we got down there on the Cam Sims blown coverage, and he runs all the way down. First of all, Cam Sims is slow as shit. Okay, that should have been a touchdown. But he was running his hardest, and he wasn't going anywhere. Okay. Anyway, I digress. When we get down there, it's 3rd and 3, and J.D. McKissic is open for a touchdown, and Dwayne's trying to hit him. I don't know if it would have been an accurate ball, but his arm gets hit by Brian Burns. Morgan Moses got beat. So I can't give the offensive line an A. Wes Schweitzer has a holding penalty that negates a touchdown that would have given us a chance to fight. I can't give the offensive line a A of a grade. Metaphor, double up, thank you for doubling up, Metaphor. Greatly appreciate you. Metaphor writes, how many yards of O did Haskins give us today? Let's find out. Because Curtis Samuel, I'd bet you that Curtis Samuel had more total yards than Dwayne Haskins had. Let's see what we can dig up, shall we? Let's see. So, Dwayne Haskins had 154 passing yards and he didn't have any rushing yards. So 154 yards of total offense for Dwayne Haskins. I thought he rushed at least once or twice. I guess I was wrong. And Curtis Samuel had 158 yards total. So he beat Dwayne Haskins by 4 yards. Haskins was just ass-tastic today. A quarterback rating of 36.9. So glad he's done in Washington. I don't have to watch that shit anymore. Should have never gave Joe's number to that clown. Ever. That we should have known right then and there that was the first red flag. When he thought he could come to Washington, didn't understand the history of 7. This is why I can't stand Daniel Snyder's stupid ass, because he thought it was okay to make Joe have to make a decision. No, you tell whoever comes in here, you can't have 21. Look, if you're not going to retire numbers, then you have to let them know these are protected numbers. We're not going to retire them, but you can't have them. You're not getting 81. You're not getting 21. You're not getting 7. You're not getting 44. Like, these are numbers that are just off limits. And instead, Dan's stupid ass said, well, go talk to Joe. Like, Joe's going to be an asshole and say, no, you can't have it. But Joe told him, hey, forge your own legacy. Don't piggyback off of mine. And they gave his ass 7, and look what he did to it. Should be ashamed of his damn self. Malqui Jimenez, thank you for the super chat. Malqui writes, Chase Young solidified himself as Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jeremy Chin, not so much. Look, I don't think there was really any discussion to be had. I know Panthers fans have been making a case because he's got 2 defensive touchdowns. He's not better than Chase Young, and he hasn't had a better year than Chase Young. So Chase is the guy, and he's going to win that award, I feel. Thank you for the super chat, Shane Chappelle, or Chapel, however you pronounce that. I apologize if I got that wrong. Greatly appreciate you, Shane. Thank you so much for the super chat. Honor Immortal, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Honor Immortal, who writes, with that being said about Haskins' college success, how hard is it just to replicate that? Sorry if the question is elementary. It's not elementary. Honestly, this offense was supposed to be a better fit for Dwayne Haskins because we run a lot of those mesh concepts. You see a lot of those shallow crosses? That's what they ran at Ohio State. A steady diet of them. We run them here. And off of that, you get routes behind it that if they collapse on the shallow crosses, you hit those routes behind them. He just, at this league where everything's sped up, he doesn't make good decisions with the football. His eyes aren't disciplined. His footwork and his mechanics aren't disciplined. He's not a good decision. How many times did he throw into double coverage today? I lost count. He's just not a good decision maker. And he doesn't throw good balls. Everything is 89 million miles an hour. Let's see. Got another super chat. This one is from, and no, your question wasn't elementary. It's just hard to duplicate that because in college, when you're playing against teams that you're just elite against and then you're just better than, you can get away with that when you're playing up against, UAB and you're beating up on, Northwestern and you're destroying Southwest Penn, Michigan or something. I don't know. When you're beating up on a little sister, when you're beating up on Illinois, like you can do that. But when you play in the NFL and everybody's good and all these athletes are out here, you can't get away with the shit you got away with in college. That's the biggest difference. Jared Fromm, thank you for the super chat. Jared, greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, what about Gardner Minshew? How would you feel about him at quarterback? I mean, he's solid, but I wouldn't want him here as a starter. I think he's going to make a tremendous backup quarterback in this league. But I wouldn't want him as a starting quarterback. He proved me wrong, though. I didn't think he would be as successful as he's been to this point, even though the Jaguars refused to put him back in as their starter. I wouldn't be shocked if he started next week. That would really tell me that they were tanking. Tony P. 56, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Tony P. 56 writes, Week 17 quarterback. If Alex starts slow next week, do you pull him? Nah, they're not pulling Alex. He's their guy. Again, if Alex is starts like he did against San Francisco, then you got to question how healthy he is, and then maybe you make a decision to go in a different direction because he's hurting you. But as far as if Alex starts slow but he feels fine, nah, they're not pulling him. That's their guy. They're going to just try to let him work through that. Shane Chappelle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Shane writes, no need to keep playing Alex. Time to move forward with Heinicke. It's Heinicke, guys. No, they're not looking at it that way. They see Alex as a guy that can. He was the reason we had the 4-game win streak. That's the guy they're trying to get back to. So. Billy Ampifo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Billy Amp. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My man Billy Amp writes, I think Ron kept Dwayne in because of all the backlash he got the last time he benched him. I don't think that came into play. I thought they felt like, hey, Dwayne started slow last week against the Seattle Seahawks. He had 2 interceptions in the first half, remember? And he had I think he had 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. But he said, didn't you remember? Dwayne brought us back. He got into an offensive rhythm, and we almost won the game. That's what he was thinking. Not, he could give 2 shits about any backlash he got the last time he pulled him. This was solely based off of what they saw last week. If we just give him more opportunities, he'll start to play better. It didn't happen. And I blame them for not recognizing that he's not good and he doesn't have it. And he wasn't going to have it today. Because even last week, he was running. Even when we were struggling early on, he was running. He was doing some things in that first half. We never saw it in the first half of this game. So they were wrong for thinking that Dwayne was going to provide some type of spark and he was going to turn it around. They should have just went to Taylor Heinicke, but they didn't. Malcolm Goodall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Malcolm, who writes, does Dwayne being so trash just hurt Justin Fields' draft stock? It will with some. I think, in the scouting community, they tell you all the time, one of the key sayings in the scouting community is, don't scout the helmet, scout the player. Meaning, don't scout where this guy came from and start using quarterbacks from the past that struggled out of that university to then justify not liking a guy moving forward. Like, you don't scout the helmet, you scout the player. That being said, it's hard to not scout the player or the helmet when all of these guys from Ohio State haven't had success and they're coming from a similar offense, But Justin Fields is a different guy. I'm not a Justin Fields fan, though. And every time he's been put in big spots, Clemson playoff game last year, Big Ten championship game this year versus Northwestern, or even to a lesser degree, the game against Indiana earlier this season. He hasn't looked all that great, When they're playing lesser competition and he's able to go out and carve them up, he 4 touchdowns, 27 of, 24 of 27. He incompletes 2 or 3 passes. You're like, man, Justin Fields, this guy's awesome. And then he plays somebody good, and now all of a sudden he's 13 of 21 with 2 interceptions. You're like, that was some bullshit. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I think it does to a certain degree hurt his draft stock, but I think you're going to have some people ignore and follow the rules. And one of the rules is you scout the player, not the helmet. And I think people they're going to follow the rules. It's hard to ignore that, though, I will admit. Bloodshot Sports, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Bloodshot Sports. Marcus Bradley, double up, thank you for doubling up, Marcus Bradley. Greatly appreciate you. My man Marcus writes, are you warming up to Logan as a number 1? He has good hands and can be tricky big play threat. Also, besides Chase earlier, Allen, Curl, and Fuller played well. Don't forget about Ronald Darby. I thought Darby had arguably, after Chase, the second best game of the day. So don't forget about Darbs as well. I thought he played exceptional football. I thought he actually tackled well, which is not something I usually say about Darbs either. So, no, I'm not warming up to Logan as a number 1 tight end. I think he has a chance to be a dynamite number 2. But, you saw the deep ball drop. He's just not athletically gifted enough to really hurt you vertically. However, with more time, I could be open to that idea. Because, remember, he's still scratching the surface. And every time Ron gets an opportunity, he'll tell you, well, he's just starting out, just like he does with Antonio Gibson. We know, Ron. We know. All right? You don't have to remind us 57 million times. So, I could potentially warm up. Like, if they don't do anything this year, as far as finding a number 1, like they don't go get a guy in free agency and they spend a 5th round draft pick on a guy, not a 2nd round, would I be upset? No, not as much as I would have been coming into the season. But I'd still like to see them do something. They're going to have to, obviously, because after Logan Thomas, we don't have another tight end that's actually under contract next year. So they're going to have to do something anyway. Anyhow, thank you for that super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Marcus Bradley. Rob the GOAT, double up, thank you for doubling up, Rob the GOAT. Greatly appreciate you, Rob the GOAT writes, if we don't win next week, who do we take in with top 10 pick? We're not going to have a top 10 pick, more likely than not, with 6 wins. It's hard to say how the rest of the draft shakes out, but I don't know what we would do because, again, the NFL is unique. Unlike the other sports, the draft comes after free agency, so free agency will give us a clearer view of what the team needs. We could sit here and compile a list of guys we like in the draft, and then in free agency, we take a wide receiver. Well, we might have had 3 or 4 guys that we wanted at wide receiver. We don't need that guy now. So free agency will have to come first before we can make any determination as to what we will be eyeballing come draft time. We can lock down the positions that we need to draft, but again, we might be able to take care of some of those via free agency. Trevor Patch, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Trevor Patch, who writes, short on why you can't replicate the Ohio State days for Dwayne. Most of college is a game of feet, and the NFL is a game of inches. A ball swatting. I'm telling you right now, it's the bottom line is in college, Dwayne had wide open receivers. And I remember saying the same thing about Marcus Mariota coming out of college from Oregon. Like, I don't know if I trust Mariota because watching his tape the entire time at Oregon, because they were so dynamic running read option that teams used to bite up on the run. They had to respect Mariota as a runner and LaMichael James as a runner and all of those guys as runners so badly that it opened up the pass game and Mariota was throwing to wide open receivers. You're not really challenging your quarterback when he's throwing to guys like, you can do this in your sleep. You're throwing to guys that are 5-6 yards of separation. The next closest guy isn't even in the picture. It's not hard to do. It's in the NFL, players aren't, first of all, collegiate players aren't as smart. They're not as athletic. You're not seeing the same type of game plans. You don't have as much time to scheme for a team. It's so different. The college game, although we're seeing a lot of wrinkles and things come from college to the NFL and infiltrate the NFL game, it's not. Those two games couldn't be more different. They're not nearly the same. It's not the same kind of intensity. It's not the same athleticism. It's not the same game planning. You're not seeing the same type of blitzes. There are so many different things that go into a college game that in the NFL, just light years different game. Chauncey Davis, can't see you. Really appreciate you. My man Chauncey writes, Lou, how did Cole Holcomb and Gibson look today? Gibson was outstanding. I hated the fact that he had to play, but I thought he should have gotten more. Man had 10 carries for 61 yards. Probably had 3 catches for another, 15 yards or so. Like, he was outstanding. They probably had him on a pitch count. But we saw one Peyton Barber run for like 12 yards. What the hell happened to Peyton Barber? He rips off a 12-yard run and we don't see him again? It's bullshit. As far as Cole Holcomb is concerned, he was okay. He was all right. Tony P, 56, thank you for the super chat and doubling up. Double up. Tony P writes, so did the league done messed up or did we mess up? No. The league did not mess up. We done messed up. Big time. Okay? League done messed up? We done messed up. We just want our money back, man. You still got the receipt? Hey, Tony, you still got the receipt? Metaphor. Thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Metaphor, who writes, just in, Haskins spotted at the club with Flo Rida. I hear your jokes. He deserves them. I can't defend him. DCJ, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, DCJ. Greatly appreciate you. DCJ writes, I'm not sold on any QB in the draft after Trevor. I say go veteran free agent or trade. At this point, anybody, LOL, but I would be cool with Stafford. Gonna have to give up an awful lot to get him. An awful lot. Walter Bonner, thank you for the super chat, Walter. Greatly appreciate you, who writes, if Alex Smith is not 100%, I would not start him. He has to have decent mobility. He cannot be handicapped. I agree with you 1,000%. When Alex is immobile, and they won't put him out there if he can't protect himself. That's always been Ron's number one thing with Alex is he's got to be able to protect himself. Got to be able to slide, move, run if need be. If he can't do that, then he can't play. But I think Ron might be desperate, and he might put a compromised Alex out there on the field, unfortunately, in Week 17. Brian Norfleet, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Brian, who writes, if Alex can play, do we even suit up Dwayne? I already told you, if Alex is active and you go with 3 quarterbacks, which you should do because Alex hasn't proven that he can play a full game since he got injured, you got to go with 3 quarterbacks. I don't think Dwayne should be one of them. I don't think he will be one of them. I think he might be demoted to fourth string quarterback, which is crazy because, most teams don't even have 3 quarterbacks on their team. We got 4, and he could easily be the 4th man at this point. Brian says the team doesn't seem to respond to him. Hard to respond to a guy that did what he did off the field. He lost so much respect. You got to understand this. He lost a lot of respect in the locker room with his actions last weekend after the game. You didn't lead us to a win. You know that, right? And again, he wasn't celebrating him playing. He was celebrating his girlfriend's birthday. So I do want to clarify that, but it doesn't matter. We don't care about what you do in your off time. I've already stated that. I don't care about, not one of those guys, optics police. Oh, he should be in his playbook. I don't care about any of that shit. Put a damn mask on, bro. You put this team at risk. And bottom line is, even though nobody contracted COVID and you didn't get it either, the distraction that came with that was enough to justify you being a 4th string quarterback and never taking another snap in Washington again. In our most important game of the season, you created such a media firestorm, and then you come out and play like that? Oh, yeah. We're effing done with you, bruh. Done. Let's see. Got a super chat here from Chauncey Davis. Really appreciate you, Chance. Greatly appreciate you. My man Chauncey writes, Lou, can we run against Philly? That's going to help Heinicke. They're a really good run defense, are the Eagles. And the only way you're going to run successfully against them is if you spread them out and run, which is what we do really well. But you're not going to line up and run against that Eagles front. They stop the run pretty good. They're stout against the run. Ishmael Benitez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ishmael writes, Presser's going to be all about Dwayne again. I feel like he's going to be a huge distraction for the team. Hopefully Smith will be ready to roll next week. No, they won't. I think everyone knows that we've seen enough of Dwayne, and that was it. I think today's presser is going to be a lot about Dwayne, and then today is going to close the book on that. You might get a couple of questions, where's Dwayne? If Alex can't go, you're going to get a couple of those. If Alex can't go, are you going to go back to Dwayne? You're going to get those questions. And if Ron wants to put that shit to bed early, he'll come out on Monday and say, if Alex can't go this week, we're going to go with Taylor Heinicke. If you want to put that shit to bed, you don't want to answer those questions, put it to bed. Because they're going to ask. Let's not try to beat around the bush. Let's not avoid the elephant in the room. You know what's coming. If you don't want to deal with that on Monday or Wednesday, don't keep them in limbo. Tell them. And, Ron's a big competitive advantage guy, doesn't want to give the other team. Well, you can tell the media, hey, here's what we're going to do. If Alex can't go, and then you can play that Alex might be able to go all week, even though he can't go. You can do that. You can still do both. Hey, if Alex can't go, we're going to give the bulk of the reps, first team reps to Taylor Heinicke. We thought he played really well and gave us a spark in the game, and we want to see if he can help us. We know he knows the offense. We thought he ran it really well when he came in, and so if Alex can't go this week, he's going to be the guy that we turn to. And then you want to keep the Eagles guessing as to who they got to play for, and who they got to prepare for. We feel good about Alex. Alex looked good at practice today. In limited, reps. We think Alex can go this week. We'll see. We're going to continue to monitor him, and that's how you play it. But we'll see what happens. At this point, everybody understands that Dwayne stinks, and he's done in D.C. I think there's even the most staunch. I haven't seen one Dwayne supporter come out the woodworks today. Normally we get, a couple. Well, what do you expect, Dwayne? There was no Terry. You didn't get none of that shit today. Everybody's done with his ass. DCJ, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Greatly appreciate you. Might be triple. DCJ writes, my only questions with number 7 are OSU was in the Maryland was MD in Iowa game. He pouted and played just like in the NFL both games. Oh, the OSU was in the Maryland and in the Iowa games. Yeah, they lost. They got their ass whooped by Iowa in 2018 in Dwayne's game that year. And in that Maryland game, they had to come back from behind. Dwayne actually led them from behind to that win. They should have lost that game. The 2-point conversion was there, and it got batted down. I think it either got batted down or it was a bad throw. Either way, Dwayne, you could kind of see this stuff coming. We don't do our homework on some of these guys, unfortunately. Michael Roberts Jr., thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Michael Roberts Jr. writes, third string quarterback throws near perfect deep balls and they drop them. I can't dispute that, man. It was disappointing to see Cam Sims not catch that deep ball. It was disappointing to see Logan Thomas not catch that deep ball. What can you do? It was that kind of day for us. Honor Immortal, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you. Honor Immortal writes, is the NFL quarterback position the hardest position in all of sports total? If so, then if you have a soft spot for Haskins' play thus far, knowing how hard it is, no, I don't have a soft spot at all for him because there takes a level of maturity, there takes a level of discipline, and a want to get better. And I haven't seen that from Haskins to this point. The reason he got benched at the beginning of this season is because not for his play necessarily, even though he wasn't great. It was because he wasn't showing the maturity. He wasn't showing up early and staying late. He wasn't putting in. I told you, one of the things that used to really drive me nuts, and it was a pet peeve of mine, and I told you, it was petty, but it was just me. I'm petty, and I can be sometimes. Is that when Dwayne would make a mistake or a drive would fail, you see all the good quarterbacks in this league go over, and the first thing they want to do is grab the tablet. What did I do wrong? What did I miss? What are they doing? What are they in? What can I do better? How can I correct what I just made a mistake on? Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers and all these guys, Patrick Mahomes, they instantly, Drew Brees, instantly run over to the tablet. They need to see. They need answers. They're clamoring for it. And Dwayne just goes over and he sits down and, the coordinator is going through the tablet and Dwayne's just kind of staring off into space and he's smiling and he's just so happy-go-lucky Dwayne. I'll get him next time. And you got the backup quarterback who is more interested in the tablet and seeing what the hell's going on than the starting quarterback. That shit used to drive me nuts. He doesn't care enough. He's not dedicated enough. He's more, I probably shouldn't say this, but he wants to flex more for the gram than he does worry about his damn playbook. That shit bothers me. There's no soft spot. It's the hardest position in football, so you need your most dedicated guys at that position. The quarterback position is not for a guy that wants to do half the work and show up, like Johnny Manziel, for instance. Johnny Manziel had enough talent to play in the NFL. He didn't want to put in the work. You don't want to work, the quarterback position is not for you. Need not apply. Zach Carlstrom, thank you for the super chat. Zach Carlstrom, who writes, who are the top wide receiver free agents besides Juju we target? I mean, the list I went over this on a Washington show like a couple weeks back, but I can run off a few names. In Detroit, you've got, what is the name of their receiver in Detroit? Shucks. I can't think of his name, but just know the Detroit number one, who's a beast, is available. Chris Godwin in Tampa Bay is available. Juju Smith-Schuster is available. Allen Robinson is available. Corey Davis is available for the Titans. I mean, we could go on and on and on. There are so many really good wide receivers that will be available this offseason. Kenny Golladay is the Lions receiver's name. So they're going to have options. They're going to have a lot of guys available to pick from. And I'm leaving out about another good 3 or 4 guys that would fit in this offense perfectly as a number 2. So there's a lot of guys out there for sure. Zach Carlstrom, thank you for the super chat and doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Zach. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, just want to hear you double up. Gimmicky, LOL. Well, you got it, Zach. Really appreciate you. Thank you for that super chat and doubling up. Got another super chat here from DCJ. Thank you for tripling up, my man. DCJ writes, so many open guys or just run. How he throws triple coverage. I mean, look, I can't begin to try to. The film will tell the story, but we've seen this. I've broken this down on film this season. None of this should surprise you. He doesn't see the field well. He doesn't make smart decisions. And even when he does, it's not the best throw, Even a throw on third down where he escapes and extends to Steven Sims, it's a high throw. Sims has to climb the ladder. If anybody were close, they push him out of bounds. It's not a catch. He made a hell of a play to Cam Sims. I got to give him credit for that. That was a hell of a throw. Got another super chat. This one is from Chauncey Davis. Thank you for the 7th super chat of the night from Chauncey Davis. Greatly appreciate you. Chauncey writes, if this was Jay's team, I would be concerned. Ron's not going to let this team lose. He said Ron's not going to let this team lose, and lose. He's not going to lose this team. Essentially, what he says. I don't think Ron's going to allow these guys to go cower in a corner either. But this was a very disappointing performance. I haven't been this disappointed in the team since the first loss against the Giants. It was the second loss, because the second loss was coming off the Dallas win. You won't go on a bye week. You're excited. The Giants stink. They haven't won another game since they beat us. And you're like, hey, we got to beat these clowns this second time around. And we were dying for that second opportunity to play the Giants. And I was really disappointed. We lost Kyle Allen. I was dejected that day. It's not quite the same because there's still hope. I had no hope after that game. There's still hope, but this is not the same old Washington football team. But this feels Redskins-esque right here. This shit right here feels Dan Snyder Redskins-esque. This feels Giants-esque 2016, circa 2016. Last game of the season, everything on the line. Team you're playing against has nothing to play for, and you lay an egg. This is what this feels like. This stinks. It's what it does. Brandon Hayes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Brandon, who writes, bro, I really believe in energy. Haskins is done. Let's mentally move on. Regardless, we trending up. They got to see it. They understand what he did to this team. They were hoping that he could provide a spark, another rallying cry. Let's rally around Dwayne. Let's go out and win this thing for Ron. Like, there were so many different reasons to win this game, and they just didn't. They didn't. Jeff Antonio, thank you for the super chat, Jeff Antonio. Greatly appreciate you. Jeff writes, Haskins was weak as hell and then pouts on the sideline with the sad face. A joke. There's nothing mature about this guy at all. His career is over. He's going to get another shot because he's a first-round pick with talent. So he's not getting another chance to start. But he'll be on somebody's team next year at camp. Somebody will give him a chance. Just like Robert Griffin III. He'll get another shot. You saw him with his eyes closed, meditating on the sideline. Some people said he was asleep. He wasn't asleep. He was meditating, hoping that shit would turn around. No, you don't hope. You don't pray for things to turn around. You go out and make them turn around. You put in the work to help yourself be better prepared to go out and execute. He was a joke today. Like I said, I haven't been this, just over a player since Albert Hainsworth. I can't wait for him to go. And the fact that he's wearing number 7 just pisses me off even more. JDSG, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, JSD. Dwayne just made his IG private. He knew this was coming. There's so much slander waiting on his ass. You remember he made his Twitter private last time we had a shitstorm when he went to the club, when he had the stripper party and went out without a mask to a restaurant. So you knew this was going to happen. I want to say it's a weak move, but it's not, because he might get death threats. Like, it's people that's crazy enough out there that's so mad that he might get. Somebody in the chat already said on site with number 7. You mean like that? He doesn't look as bad as I want him going. I don't want any bodily harm. I don't want anybody threatening this man's life. None of that shit. So he's probably better off making his IG and all his social platforms private at this point, because there's nothing positive that's going to come out of it. Got any grapes? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Got any grapes writes, what you said about the tablet and great QBs was spot on. Watch this game with my oldest and dialed in on this. Couldn't explain the fumble to him, though. Not down, no whistle yet, ball out. It's frustrating because they blew the whistle too soon on that play. I really feel like, the league is going to tell them that they did the right thing. But how many plays do we see in an NFL game where guys got one leg caught like that and he's still fighting for extra yardage, and then his guys come from behind and push him and he picks up 2 more yards? Like, don't blow the whistle there. That play didn't need to be blown dead, but they did. It was a quick whistle. It is what it is. Like, could that have been a game-changing play? Sure, it could have been. But we turned it over 5 times. Don't turn it over 5 times. You win the game. Don't look for the officials to bail you out. Honor Immortal, thank you for your 4th super chat of the night. Greatly appreciate you, Honor Immortal, who writes, the QB position is the hardest in all of sports total. Yes, I think that is. In team sports, I think it is. When you talk individual sports, I think golfing is really tough. It's more of a skill sport in terms of muscle memory and training yourself to do certain things over and over again. And but in team sports, there's not a tougher position than quarterback, I don't think. And I'll take it a step further. It's the most reliant position in all of sports, because as you can see with Heinicke coming in the game, he threw some dimes. Guys didn't catch it. He doesn't get credit for it. We know what we saw. He scrambled around, made some plays with his legs. Offensive line gets beat. Perfect play call from Scott Turner. Offensive line gets beat. Ball's knocked out of Dwayne's hand. What can you do? You're reliant upon your offensive line. You're relying upon the skill guys to make plays for you. When you make a bad throw, you need a guy to make you right. That didn't happen tonight. Got another one from JP. Thank you for tripling up, JP. Greatly appreciate you. Might even be 4. I think it might be for you on the night, JP. It is 4, as a matter of fact. Now I'm thinking about it. My man John writes, get me Stafford next year, please. There could be a market for Stafford here in Washington. I don't disagree with that. I think they're going to be, especially if we miss the playoffs, I think they might be done with Alex, and they can definitely use the cap space, and I think that they may be ready to go in a different direction next year, and they may want a veteran, you know. I still want to go the young QB route, but I wouldn't be I've told you, I wouldn't be opposed to, you know, let's say Taylor Heinicke. Let's say Taylor Heinicke comes plays next week. Alex can't go again, and he plays well, and he clinches us the division, and then he has to start the playoff game, and he plays well, and we lose. I wouldn't be opposed to coming back next year with Kyle Allen, Taylor Heinicke, and a rookie. Would you? I wouldn't be. We'll see what they decide to do. Shane Chappelle, thank you for the super chat. Great Chapel. I need you to tell me which one it is. It's going to drive me nuts because I'm going to feel like I'm saying it wrong either way. Really appreciate you, Shane, for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Shane, who writes, how did Ron go from seeing what he has seen in the young players and building a winning culture to waiting on Alex to getting into the playoffs as his number one goal, seemingly? So what happened is Ron, when he first got here, was looking for player development because he didn't expect much from his team. He knew this was a rebuild. He knew this was a project. So they went out, signed a bunch of guys to one-year deals, prove-it deals, and they wanted to take a look at some of the young players. All right, so how good is Cole Holcomb really? How good is Montez Sweat? You know, how good is Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen? This Chase Young fella, let's see what he's about. You know, how good is Landon Collins really? You know, so they were looking to figure out some of these things. How good is Terry McLaurin? Like, let's find out. So they get here, and they're in the process of trying to figure things out. And they look up after week one, and it's, shit, we in first place all by ourselves. This is pretty cool. And then in week two, they look up, shit, we're in first place all by ourselves. It's pretty cool. And they look up in week three, and they're not in first place by themselves anymore, but they're like, man, we're still in first place, even though we're 1 and 2. This is pretty damn cool. And then you look up again, you know, after that, and you say, okay, wait a minute. We're 1 and 3. We stink, but we're a half game. I think at that point, Philadelphia had already had a tie. I think their tie came in like week 3 against Cincinnati or whatever it was. And by that time, Philadelphia had taken the lead in the division at like 1-2-1 or something like that. But they might not have won at that point. I think they were 0-2-1 or something like that. Whatever the case may be, we still looked up and we were like, "What the hell are we doing here?" I think Dallas might have been in first place at that point. Anyway, we looked up and we said, "Wow, this division is pretty bad. We might have a shot." And as the season progressed, and we realized nobody, and I mean nobody, is running away with this thing, Ron's whole mindset switched, and I wanted it to switch. Hey, let's win this division. The best thing you can do for a culture is win. You got a chance to win the division. Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Jonathan Allen. All these guys have a chance. Cole Holcomb. All these guys have a chance to experience playoff football. You know what that means? You know how big that is? And that's what makes today so disappointing is we were literally a win against a 4-10 team away from clinching that. And we couldn't even get it done. Couldn't even get it done. Got another super chat. This one is from Slope. Thank you for the super chat, Slope, who writes, haha, Dwayne bailed on his post-game interview and bailed on the team and drove home. The PR department couldn't get a hold of him until he got home. That sounds about right. He's a loser. He's a loser. Sounds about right. Wouldn't be shocked. And what was that? You know how phony this guy is? You know, I don't ever question someone's faith. You know, he talks about a lot of God and stuff in the post game pressers and things of that nature. And I don't ever question another man's faith ever. But how phony was it for him to walk all the way on the field on that fourth down before that fourth down and dap up, Taylor Heinicke? Like, get your ass off the field. What are you doing on the field? Go sit your ass somewhere on the bench. The hell you doing on the field? Had me scared to death that they were putting him back in the damn game. Get your ass on the sidelines. Hell is you doing? Got another one here from CeeLo. Thank you for the super chat, CeeLo, who writes, "What do you think of Taylor Heinicke? I thought he showed well, man. I was really pleased with what he gave us. You know, he should have been in sooner. That was the biggest takeaway. Is that, and I told you, I thought that our coaching staff lost this game, and part of the reason I feel that way is because he should have been in sooner. I would have went to him at halftime. What are you waiting on? No reason to wait." Zach Karlstrom, thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Zach, who writes, "Will Terry play next week? If not, I'm worried. We don't know. Terry's been dealing with this ankle. I'd surmise that he is going to play next week. But you know what would have been really nice? If Terry didn't have to play next week either. But now, again, all hands on deck. I surmise Terry's going to give it a go next week. Got any grapes? Thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Got any grapes? Who writes, Dak, great middle linebacker, Corey Davis, offseason wish list. It's a great list. Dak's probably not going anywhere in Dallas. Think they're going to find a way to either slap the franchise tag on him again or reach a long-term deal with him. Great middle linebacker. Those are hard to come by. You might have to change great to good. Maybe you find one of those. Corey Davis, I don't think there's any way in hell after his emergence this year that the Titans allow him to walk. Franchise tag at worst for Corey Davis. So I don't think you're going to come away with anything on your wish list. But I will never tell another man not to wish, and I will never tell him how to alter his list. So good luck with that. DCJ, thank you for your fourth super chat. Greatly appreciate you, DCJ, who writes, "I'm feeling more let down by coaches than Haskins." Nah, not me. More disappointed in Haskins, but the coaches aren't that far behind. Like, I need 200% of disappointment so I can share it around because 100% isn't enough. I'm 125% disappointed in Dwayne Haskins and 75% disappointed in this coaching staff. HTTR, Moko Land, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Got another one here from Metaphor. Thank you for your fourth super chat of the night, Metaphor. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "Shot in the dark. If we lose next week and New York and Dallas tie, we win the division." Yes, Dallas can't finish tied with us. They would have to finish with a better record than us. The Giants, they are still in it technically, because if they finish tied with us, they would have to beat Dallas next week, which means that they would finish tied with Dallas and they would have a better divisional record than Dallas would, because Dallas right now is 2-3 in the division. So the Giants right now are 2-3 in the division as well. But if they beat Dallas next week, they will be 3-3 and Dallas would be 2-4. So they would have a better divisional mark than Dallas. And then they would own the tiebreaker over us if we lost next week. So if the Giants win and we lose, the Giants are in. If Dallas wins and we lose, Dallas is in. The winner of that Dallas-New York game wins the division if we lose. Put it that way. If any other outcome happens other than a win, if they tie and we lose, we still win the division because they wouldn't have a better record than us. Neither one of them would. So that is where we stand right now. And Dallas has to finish with a better record than us, just so we're on the same page. So a loss next week. If we lost and Dallas tied, they would actually have a better record than us. I take that back. They would be 6-9-1. And we would be 6-10. So technically Dallas would have a better record and they would then, because of that, win the division. So I take that back. J Mart, thank you for your fourth super chat of the night. Greatly appreciate you, J Mart, who writes, Dwayne Haskins not dedicated to his craft. Get a wide receiver ASAP. Indeed. Brandon Hayes, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Brandon Hayes, greatly appreciate you. Brandon Hayes writes, let's see. Haskins stole a cheap bag from us. Snyder is 0-2 when it comes to QBs. Snyder's terrible. He just needs to stay away from the draft war room. Haskins, I don't even want to talk about him anymore. I'm over him. So over him. Christian Sorto, thank you for the super chat. Christian Sorto, who writes, I want Heinicke to start next week. It's Heinicke. And it's probably, I'm gonna put this on a lot of your, if you're doing this on a mobile device, a lot of your autocorrects. But it's Heinicke, not Heineken. Okay. Honor Immortal, thank you for your 5th super chat of the night. Really appreciate you. Can't see you right now. We here with it. Who writes, can you break down the NFC East playoff scenarios? Sure. So, essentially right now we're in a dead heat with the Dallas Cowboys at 6-9. All right, so we own the tiebreak over Dallas, so we'll still be on all the graphics that you'll see tonight and tomorrow. We'll still be in first place. But next week, Dallas plays the Giants. If the Giants beat Dallas, the winner of that game, just to make it as simple as possible, the Eagles are mathematically eliminated. They cannot win the division now. So they have nothing to play for next week other than pride and dragging us down with them. If we lose, the winner of the Dallas Giants game wins the division. Because if the Giants win next week, they'll have the same record as us at 6-10. And they own the season series over us. If Dallas wins and we lose, they got a better record than us at 7-9. They win the division. Okay. Now, if Dallas and the Giants tie somehow, which is highly unlikely, but let's just go with that premise, they tie. Then if the Cowboys would win the division if we lose. So what I'm essentially telling you is, we can't lose. We lose the division, and we deserve to lose the division if. With 3 games left in the season, we were staring at the potential of getting to 9-7. And if we finish 6-10, we deserve to take our asses home. We deserve to go home. We had a chance to make sure that this division wasn't won by a team for the first time in NFC East history with a team with a losing record. And we blew it. We had a chance to carry the torch, get to 8-8 and be respectable. And we pissed it away. I'm so disappointed, man. So disappointed. JDSG. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for doubling up. Double up. JDSG, who writes, didn't Ron go 7-9 and make the playoffs, then the Super Bowl? No. They went 7-8-1. And then, yes, the next year they went 15-1 and made the Super Bowl. Yes. I hope you're not trying to equate that to what we're doing here, because that's not what we're on. They had a quarterback. Ron had already been there for 4 years when they did that. This is not the same thing. Okay, thank you. So I was saying it right. Shane Chappelle, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you. I think we're here now for your 4th super chat of the night. Greatly appreciate you. Shane Chappelle writes, it's Chappelle like the comedian Dave. That's how I was pronouncing it, but I wasn't sure. I know some chapels as well, so I wanted to make sure that it was Chappelle. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. DeAndre Hopkins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. DeAndre writes, I need to find who else went to Bullis High School and had connections. We need our 1st round pick back. Again, if you got receipts, man, maybe, but I'm thinking you're getting that back at this point at all. Curtis Samuel is another one. I seen y'all talking in the comment section. Curtis Samuel is another free agent wide receiver. I'm not really interested, but I wouldn't be shocked if this team was, because of his familiarity with Ron and with Scott Turner. So he lit us up tonight. I can tell you that much. I know a lot of people in the MOBB were saying, I know you didn't want him, but he sure is kicking our ass. You're right. You're absolutely right. I still don't want him, but his familiarity with the offense and, what he is capable of that may intrigue them to go out and get him. I hope not, because he's always injured, and he's a gadget guy to me. But we'll see what they decide to do. James H. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, James H. Writes, my exact reaction to Haskins coming on the field. Get off the field. Also disgusted with Ron keeping Haskins on the field. Hashtag Mac Jones, quarterback from Alabama. We will see how that turns out. But that was my first reaction. Like, wait, what is he doing? At first, I thought that Heinicke was coming off the field. But then I saw Heinicke looking like, bro, what are you doing? And then Dwayne dapped him up and then jogged off. I'm like, that was so random. Get your ass off the damn field, man. How are you doing? WDMV362radio.com. Thank you for the super chat. WDMV362radio.com writes, keep up the great work, Louie T. I thank you for that. I really do. WDMV362radio.com. Got another super chat. This one is from Fat American. Thank you for the super chat, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hey, bro. I know it was disappointing after today. On the bright side, however, I'm looking forward to the offseason, and I am happy doubling our wins. If you would have told me that we would have had a chance to go 9-7 this year, I would have told you I'd take it. We had that chance. We blew it. But I told you this season won't feel complete unless we win the division. Not after having the resurgence that we had and everything we want in front of us. If we don't win a division, it's going to be hard for me to get past the fact that we should have won this division. And technically, this will still be a successful season because of a lot of the things that have happened and transpired throughout the course of this year. We've learned a lot about this team. They're pretty resilient. Even today, showed it again. Pretty damn resilient. Even with your fourth quarterback taking snaps of the season, they didn't quit. We had a shot. But I wouldn't be able to get past the fact that we dropped the ball with a chance. At 6-7, 4-game win streak, with Seattle on the ropes, I wouldn't be able to get past the fact that we weren't able to win one of our final 3 games to get into the playoffs. That's all it would have taken. One win. I can't. I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Got another super chat here. This one is from Kev O Robbins 11 _ Thank you for the super chat, Kev O Robbins 11. Talk about the refs consistently cheating us. Like I said, this isn't a blame the refs type of game. I thought the refs had a rough go of it. The Dwayne fumble was a fumble. That was the right call. Empty hand going forward. So that wasn't a cheat job. I know a lot of you thought it was. Don't listen to the commentator. He had it wrong. And I love Charles Davis. He had a rough go of it as well. He circled Wes Schweitzer on a block and said, look at Morgan Moses get out. He had a rough go of it, did Charles Davis. This was his first time doing a Washington game all season long. But that was a fumble, okay? So that wasn't a screw job by the officials. I didn't love the holding call on Wes Schweitzer, but it was holding. But it was holding last week. It's just not the right time. We see holding all the time. That hold did not impact the play. That fat 360-pound defensive lineman wasn't going to get to Taylor Heinicke. Don't call that. It's a dumb call. But it was holding. What do you want to do? Now the fumble, I can't defend the officials there. That's a quick whistle. Don't blow the whistle there. Not yet. Don't blow it. But again, we turned it over 5 times. It's hard for me to sit here and talk about officiating when you turn it over 4 times, 3 on offense, 1 on special teams, and you have a turnover on downs. It's hard for me to actually sit here with a straight face and talk and complain about officiating when we literally turned it over 5 times, like we did against the Browns, like we did against the Giants Coincidentally enough, both also losses that we could have won. So when you do the things we did today, which is not the first time we've done that this season, you deserve to lose the game. One of the first keys to the game was protect the Duke. Protect the goddamn Duke. Don't turn it over. Carolina is not capable of beating us unless we help them. We spotted them 13 points off of 3 turnovers. I don't really know what else to say. I don't want to blame the officials for this. Got another super chat. This one is from Marcus Bradley. Thank you for tripling up, Marcus Bradley. Really appreciate you. My man Marcus writes, does Haskins' random dap up LOL make ESPN not top 10? I don't know. It may. It may. What was the point of that, bro? That was so Robert Griffin III-esque. Like, what the hell was that about? Like, that was so phony. That was like, hey, I'm showing support for my team despite being benched. That's some shit I expect from Robert, not from Dwayne. But, you know, my Dwayne respect meter has gone way down over the last week. So, at this point, I don't know what the hell I should be expecting at this point, to be honest with you. Niles T, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate you, Niles T, who writes, what's up, Lou? I want to win the division, but we need a quarterback bad. I like the top 3 prospects, Trevor, Zach, Lance, but maybe a vet would be fine. I'm just telling you right now, a top 10 pick doesn't get you any of those 3 guys. Any of them. They're not getting past the first 5 picks, more likely than not. You want one of these dudes, you want to trade up. We're not in a position to get any of those guys. We know Trevor's going at number 1. Zach or Trey Lance could be going at 2 still with the Jets. It's very possible. Still could be gone. And Carolina's in the hunt for a quarterback, more likely than not. We're probably going to end up with a better record than them. So, highly unlikely, to be honest with you, that we end up in a position to draft one of these guys. You're going to have to trade up if you want one of them. Got another super chat from Fat American. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Fat American. Greatly appreciate you. Fat American writes, I'm ready to cut Steve Sims, Haskins, and someone else, I'm sure. Also, told you on our O-line mediocre at best. The offensive line has been really good this year. I don't have any complaints. John Masco, somebody was out there screaming about firing John Masco and that he was terrible. This is the best offensive line coaching job I've seen in years. Years. It's not even close. I could, again, look, there's been plenty of cut Steve Sims, Dwayne Haskins, and Dustin Hopkins chants all season long. I'm not here for any of it. I don't want to cut Haskins. I just don't want him anywhere near the field. If we can salvage a 7th round pick at this point, I will take a 7th, a conditional round 6 for him. I just don't want to cut him. I don't want to cut him. I want something back for him. Anything. The Steelers will give us a 7th round pick for Dwayne Haskins. Somebody will give us something for this clown. Somebody has to think that this guy is worth salvaging. Somebody does. I just need one team to be interested enough to say, hey, I'll give you a half-eaten peanut butter and jelly with no peanut butter. Hey, I'll take a half-eaten jelly sandwich. Might be a little dry. I'll take it. I'll smush it together real tight and make it a little bit more moist, and I'll still eat it. I just want something. So cutting him for me is not the answer. Steven Sims, just take him off of punts. I said that earlier. Last year I was screaming, put him on punts. This year I'm like, get him off of punts. He's a kickoff return guy. Put him back there. Put Danny Johnson back on punts and put Steven Sims on kick return. That's what I would do. And I actually like Danny Johnson, but Steven Sims, if you want to try to get him involved on special teams, kick return is where you do it. Kickoff return. Got another super chat here from JDSG. JDSG writes, Haskins went to dap Heinicke because he wants to control narrative like how with Alex with the Steelers, but coaches should have made him block for Taylor. Yeah, remember, was it the Steelers game or was it the Cowboys game when Dwayne ran over and picked up, Alex after he ran and got hit on the sidelines? I think it was the Dallas game on Thanksgiving, and he was the first one to run over and pick him up. And all the media members were so excited about that. So what have you seen from Dwayne? It prompted, what have you seen from Dwayne since he's been benched? How has he learned? How has he grown? We saw that when Alex was hit, Dwayne was the first one to run over and pick him up. Like, what are y'all doing? That doesn't mean shit. He just duped y'all. And he tried to do it again today, but nobody's falling for your bullshit because nobody cares now. Nobody's looking for a reason to give you another shot now. You're done. You're dead. You're dead to us. Got another one from Fat American. Thank you for tripling up. Greatly appreciate you, Fat American, who writes, I agree. The O-line is performing above expectations. Still think we need to help big time. Their performance leaves a lot to be desired. I don't dispute that. Morgan Moses is gutting it out, but he's hurt. That's part of the reason he got beat today. But I told you left tackle was always an issue. Even early in the season when Jaron Christian was still in the lineup, he was giving up pressures. The Arizona game comes to mind. He got beat in the Cleveland game by, it was Myles Garrett, though. I mean, what are you going to do? So at the end of the day, if you tell me we drafted a left tackle in the first round, I wouldn't be upset about that, but I think we can get by. If you tell me, we got other pressing needs, we need to attack other areas, I'd be all for it. I'd be all for it. So, anyway. That's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. That's the last super chat. I can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate you guys for this therapy session. Really needed this. This was a gut punch. It really was. As excited as I was for this game, as nervous as I was, I knew that this was a distinct possibility. But I just kept trying to convince myself, this time it's going to be different. And like always, Washington always pulls the football out as I go to kick it. As somebody said, I look like Charlie Brown tonight, a black Charlie Brown. I feel like Charlie Brown. I'm looking up at the sky again as I tried to kick the football, and the team moved it out of the way, and I fall on my back. The wind's knocked out of me, and I'm just looking up at the sky. Like, how in the hell did we get here? Again. The only difference this year is that we got a shot still. It's not like the Giants in 2016 where it's over. But this kind of feels like it's trending in the wrong direction. The Cowboys have all the momentum. Feels like it's their division to lose now, honestly speaking. We'll see. I feel like that in the moment. And then come Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be singing, all right, we can do this. But right now in the moment, I just don't feel it. I don't. Atypical brother, thank you for another super chat, who writes, are we sleeping on Kelvin Harmon as a number 2 wide receiver? He showed promise before his ACL injury. Also, what do you believe our team needs are? Left guard, wide receiver, free safety, quarterback, linebacker? No, I don't think Kelvin Harmon's a number 2. Much like Cam Sims, I thought he was a 3 at best before the injury. Now, again, he could have improved greatly and showed us something this year. But I didn't think he was a number 2. But you never know. Hard to say. And we do sleep on him because out of sight, out of mind. Right? Speaking of receivers, AGG looked lost today. He just needs an offseason, man. He just looks disheveled. Left guard, I don't really think is a need. I like Wes Schweitzer. I told you that they think that they may even think they got the tackle situation potentially under wraps with Sadiq Charles. Who knows? Remember, they drafted him to be a tackle. They were going to try him at guard. So I don't think left guard is a big issue. If you don't re-sign Sheriff, then you do have a hole at guard. Wide receiver is definitely a need. Free safety is definitely a need. Quarterback, definitely a need. Linebacker, definitely a need. Tight end, definitely a need. I mean, we can go on and on. Do you re-sign Darby? If not, definitely a need. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot to go on. Anyway, I digress, man. I thank you guys for this therapy session. I really needed it. And we'll have a really jam-packed show tomorrow. We'll have so much to discuss because there are a lot of things I want to talk about. I want to discuss that. I really wanted to hear from you guys. I can vent and talk about all the things I want to talk about tomorrow on the show. So Washington falls 20-13 to a 4-10 now 5-10 Carolina Panthers team that had nothing to play for. Despicable. Dwayne Haskins was downright dirty dick dastardly in this football game, and he's done in D.C. How many D's was that? I don't know. But I know this much. He was despicable today, and he's done. Good riddance. If you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to LouieTeeNetwork for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and also hit that subscribe button, or that like button, rather. 700 of you out there. We're almost at 400. Let's get it to 400. We can get it to 450. Really appreciate you guys, man. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. That being said, I'm done. I'm hungry. I'm ready to eat. And then I'm going to start drinking some adult beverages. We'll link back up tomorrow and talk some more about this debacle that was Panthers, Washington in Week 16. Got to listen to all the Cowboys shit now for the next 5 to 6 days. So saddle up. Cowboys fans going to be coming out of the woodworks. Y'all take care, man.